Turkish team put him on the pro team at the top level. He played about 9 games total, 4 in the EuroLeague. Didn't play very many minutes, but he went into the under-18 European Championships and he dominated. He won the MVP award there. That was the first time he really got on the radar for the NBA scouts. Then he decides that he's not going to turn down a multi-million-dollar contract from his Turkish team, come to the United States, play high school basketball. He enrolls in Findlay Prep. Findlay Prep finds out from all the teams that they compete against that they will not play Findlay Prep if they're going to bring in this kid. He's a ringer. He moves around until he gets to Stonebridge Prep. He plays some high school basketball, but his really big moment was at the Nike Hoop Summit, and I think people don't understand how close he was to not having that moment. He hurt his back before the Hoop Summit began. NBA scouts were watching him in workouts. They were literally asking, can this guy dunk the ball? He's a terrible athlete. He can't move. He almost decided to sit out the game before he got painkillers. He comes in off the bench. He doesn't even start for the international team. Plays only 22 minutes, has 34 points, 13 rebounds against Jared Sullinger, against Patrick Young of Florida, against Harrison Barnes, against Terrence Jones, and then that's it. And now some NBA teams did go watch him practice at Kentucky.
And he wasn't even allowed to take on 5-on-5 scrimmages down there at Kentucky. He was working out against assistant coaches.
Well, at first he was allowed. At first he was allowed to play with those when he was ruled permanently ineligible by the NCAA. Then he had to go with the assistant coaches. When I saw him work out, look, all I can say is he's gotten in good shape. And he's better athlete than we thought he was at the Hoop Summit because of the game. He's not Blake Griffin, but he's not a terrible athlete either. And he's pretty skilled, and he works really hard.
Good one.
I was going to say, I'm glad he's here because we talk about confirmation. If we look closely at the clips from the Hoop Summit and really break down that game, he is a guy that's not afraid to use his shoulders and his hips. And that, to me, is so important down in the paint. And he's not afraid to get bumped from the weak side because he can give it back. The rest of it, we know he's skilled. He can step on the baseline, shoot the jumper. He's got a soft touch inside. He's got the size. And the thing I like about him in watching is when he rebounds, he doesn't bring the ball down below his shoulders. He'll rebound it, keep it up and on the offensive end and put it back. And that's something that is fundamentally sound that a lot of guys are being taught but never really learn it.
Both Chad and I have had a chance, Len, this week to get to know him a little bit. I spent the day with him yesterday, and one of his role models and one of his mentors is Omer Ashik, who's now playing for the Chicago Bulls, because when he was at Fenerbahce, there were a number of NBA big guys there. Semi Erden from the Celtics. I know you know him well.
Traded him this year.
I understand. And Ashik, who's a tough kid. And this kid's a tough kid. And if there's a comparison, now, is he going to be a star? I don't know. But Al Horford would be a solid comparison. Al's an all-star, and this kid didn't play the 2 or 3 years that Al did at Florida, but he's got the body type. He's got similar athleticism.
Al Horford, he's, the power forward.
Tom, I want to ask you this, though, quickly before we get to Andy Katz. You've sat in these rooms, the War Room on draft night. Would seeing this kid in one real organized game, 13, 14 months before the draft, be enough for you to take him at number 2?
No, it's not, but you don't just do that.
Well, I know, but you understand the point. I realize you weren't going to shut down your synergy video, but
no, there ain't even much there.
You got to find it. That's right.
Look, this is how you get to be top 3 in the draft. You don't play all year, right? I mean, everybody were christening top
Kyrie
1.
Irving.
Kyrie Irving played 303 minutes. But between these two guys that are going to go top 3, it's 303 minutes. So it's difficult. You interview, you get to know them, you do your background checks, and then guess what? Sometimes you take a chance.
Right, and you're going to be taking a chance clearly at the top. Let's check in with Andy Katz, somebody who is really upset about not being a part of the coverage this year because the shirts have upgraded a bit since last year's lime green editions. Andy?
Well, thank you, Ryan. And based on previous history,